Now.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to live stream number 5 for the School of Thought, the 5th live stream. When we first started, we put loads of planning into it, and now we're just doing it like it's having breakfast. Really, we're just so, we're just so into it. My name's Ross, and I'm coming to you from the Bath studio, and from London we have
Tom again, the other half of School of Thoughts, and yes, we're doing this one. It's a bit last minute, isn't it? It's not as usual where we would actually plan and have everything ready down to the minute. I think this time, well, it's kind of my own making. I did ask, let's have a quick live stream on Friday night. I just felt like it was the right thing to do, right?
I think I'm trying to take a leaf out of Grant Cardone's book, which is just figure out the details later. Just commit first and take action. Just do it. Just don't, just swing the bat. Just take a shot. We were talking about we should do this every month. Why not do it every week? They don't all have to be like 45-minute long things.
Exactly.
Let's just do it. Let's rock into it. Well, let's rock into the first topic, really. The first thing we want to talk about this evening is the last video that we did, which has had some great responses online. I think, when did we put it up? Was it last Friday?
I believe last Friday, yes. It's about a week. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Act As If is the topic title. And this all came about from a film which not many people have seen this, actually. I thought it was quite a well-known film, but it's called Boiler Room. And it features Ben Affleck, Vin Diesel, and another I can't remember who the lead character is, but it's brilliant.
He's in Friends. He's in Friends. If you used to watch Friends, he's in it.
Not as one of the main.
Was one of the main, but he was Phoebe's little brother, or something like that. So yeah, I did watch the movie. Finished it last night, actually.
No, it's really good. I mean, the premise for the film Boiler Room, if you haven't seen it, it's quite a corrupt company that basically sells stocks and shares in companies that don't exist. So they're basically ripping off their customers. But it's quite an insight into the world of sales and how to kind of be something you're not, because these guys are cold calling people on the phone. And they're basically, the Ben Affleck, who plays the kind of team leader of this group of newbie salesmen, basically says, we have a saying at this company, act as if. And basically what that means is act as if you're who you want to be. Act as if, don't act yourself, because if you're starting out in a telesales job, you haven't got a clue what you're doing. I've been in that situation. You actually haven't got a clue what you're doing. You're nervous as anything. Don't act like that. You want to act like you're the chairman of the company. You want to act like you're the master salesman, because that's going to give you confidence. Wouldn't you agree, Tom?
Yeah, at first I was like, oh, what's that about? Because I wasn't really sold on the idea. But then it kind of took me back to a few years ago when I was actually working in a very high-end restaurant. And I was talking to this waitress who was telling me literally the same thing. She used to tell me that she used to put this kind of mask on when she was getting onto the floor and serving people who were all these millionaires and billionaires of the world. And she was like, from that moment you step into the restaurant, you should act as if you're on the room. If this is your restaurant, put on a display and pretend, well, actually think you're the one who's being served the food. How would you like that to happen? So that kind of kind of took me back to that kind of period of my life where I was working in a restaurant and I had to act as if it was me who owned the place, and kind of actually made you care about what you were doing and the jobs you were doing, and kind of giving that extra service, that extra mile you could go to. So yeah, I think it's a great way of doing things, on a professional level.
I really like that. I think that's because being a waiter or something is quite a sort of, with respect, it's quite a run-of-the-mill job. And I think a lot of people, I mean, I've worked in retail jobs that are sort of just paid minimum wage, and sometimes you take on that sort of mindset where you're just like, well, I'm only getting paid £6.50 an hour or whatever, so I'm just gonna act like that. But if you act like, I'll just pick this off as a complete random example, but when I used to work in a bookshop, I didn't know much about every single type of book that was sold in there. But if you just act as if you are, just use what you do know and just take it to that that sort of next level. I mean, for you, Tom, when you're going into a restaurant with people that are presumably paying quite a lot of money, I assume have pretty good jobs, used to dining in really nice restaurants. If you act all nervous, it's going to be horrendous. You're going to be dropping plates everywhere. You're going to be spilling wine. You know, you need to act as if you belong in their company.
Exactly. It wasn't the easiest thing to do, you know. Certainly was, you know, there are days when you're not feeling your best. You know, you may have something happening on a personal level, but it did work. Yeah, I did feel like at times, like, you know, kind of make sure that the customer would, you know, remember you in a way and remember the experience they had at that place. And then, you know, especially in that kind of business, the only thing that matters is that the customer actually comes back. So,
exactly.
You know, if you act as if this is your place and you want them to come back and you want them to have a great experience, I think it's the best way to go about it.
I think I kind of like the one I'm trying to use at the moment is because I've just joined a gym. First time I joined a gym in about 3 or 4 years, because I've been getting seriously slack with exercise. I think I need to really start, you know, actually paying. So I've got kind of a reason to go. But also, if you take on a mindset of like being a professional athlete, I mean, definitely my goal is to go sort of 3 or 4 times a week to this gym. Now, because I don't have to go, I don't actually have to go, if that makes sense. But if I take on the mindset, let's imagine if I was Usain Bolt, if I actually imagine I'm a professional athlete, Usain Bolt is just going to go to the gym 5 days a week. There's not going to be there won't be any sort of, you know, conflict going on in his head. I'm a professional athlete, I'm going to the gym. Now, if I take on that mindset, there won't be any sort of toing and froing in my mind. Oh, I'm tired, I don't want to go. I'll just go. I'll get it over with, and boom, move on to the next thing.
Have you ever had to use that, you know, the act as if mentality for professional reasons? You know, maybe there was something that you know, a job that you did not feel like doing. You know what I mean?
I remember. I'm not going to say the radio station's name. I'm not sure I should do that here, but I remember I was asked to do some broadcasting during the London 2012 Olympics, and I was quite tired, I must be honest. I'd done a really long day, and I was asked to do an interview. It must have been about 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'd been up working since 6 o'clock in the morning, and I was seriously tired, and to be honest, just wanted to go home. But I was asked to go on. I thought, you know, all right, okay, fair enough. It's a good, you know, good opportunity, and just had to act as if I was, you know, everything was okay. I mean, that's the first example that kind of jumps into my head. Other times, when have I had to do that? A job that I'm doing at the moment involves going to quite a few meetings, sort of face-to-face meetings with potential clients of a company that I'm working for. Sometimes, I must be honest, I wouldn't say I get intimidated, but I'm not used to doing that really on a day-to-day basis. So I have to kind of, I try and get to the meeting early, just so I can sit in my car for 5 minutes and just sort of get in the zone. I don't know if that's the right frame of mind. I mean, I'm not trying to walk in there to be acting as if I'm a big shot, because I don't think that's really going to go down too well. But I think you've just got to get that self-belief level up. You know, and you know, if someone's given you an opportunity to get into a position professionally, like if you've got an interview for a job or something, you've got to accept that they wouldn't have given you the interview if they didn't think you had some sort of potential. So don't be afraid to act up to the level that I assume you're aspiring to be to get the job.
Yeah, so it's a good point. It's a good point. I mean, you know, it's in some ways you can say, what do you have to lose? You know, even if you don't get the job, at least you kind of gave the impression that you belong there, and it's, you know, it's always good. There's another example that came back to my mind right now. One of my previous jobs where I was asked to actually run training sessions for pretty much the whole company, and that was quite a big company. I'm not going to give names because if you're not going to give names, I'm not going to give names either. So yeah, I was asked to run those training sessions, and sometimes had to stand up and talk to about a room full of, I don't know, about 60 to 70 people at times, whole departments, right? So I had to go through the whole. Again, I'm not going to go into too much details about what it was about, but well, It's like using a software, internal software. And I had to pretty much the first couple of times. Obviously, you're nervous, and you know, especially like I like talking to people, but I'm not very comfortable in front of pretty much, I imagine, like everyone else, right? Very comfortable, and you know, just to stand up and talk to a room full of other people. Wake up, and so the first couple of times where I was a bit nervous, but then I had a quick chat with my manager at the time, and she said, "Oh, just you know, just think, you know, they are like you know, if they would have to stand in front of a room full of people, they'd be nervous as you would be. So just relax and, you know, breathe and just pretend." She almost said, pretend like you know everything, you know, all the answers to all their questions.
That's a really good. That's a really good. We got company in the Bath studio.
Oh, we got company. Jeez.
So yeah, it's it's that's really good. And I think the reason why I think maybe Tom, you thought, oh, you know, I'm not too sure about this this topic, is because this goes in the face of everything you've probably been told right up until now. You know, I mean, we're always told, you know, just be yourself. You know, just be yourself. But what if, with all due respect, you're not where you want to be? You know,
sometimes being yourself is not going to cut it. You know,
exactly.
You just have to, you know, sometimes you just have to put on an act. And yeah, it's something is true that when you started sharing the video on Facebook or on Twitter, I can't remember what you put, and it's like, oh, stop being yourself, I think you put.
Okay, yeah.
I thought
I'd try and see what reaction it would
get. So when I was editing the video, I was like, yeah, it all makes sense. But then it's true that when you think about it, it's literally going against everything you're told. Oh no, like, be yourself, which is, you know, it's fine. Yeah, you obviously be yourself, but there are going to be situations in life where you will need to put on an act, you know. To get where you want to be. And sometimes most of the people, when they get to the higher level, you know, they have to act, basically.
And also, you know, there's nothing wrong with changing who you are, I think, either. I mean, you know, some people are very shy growing up, and I don't think there's anything wrong with saying, oh, actually, I don't want to be shy anymore. I want to be a bit more outgoing. You know, that's just because who you are right now doesn't have to be who you are for the rest of your life. You know, everyone's got stuff they could improve upon, and
no, we all do. No one's perfect. I mean, you know, I mean, yeah, I think I'm done. I'm done. Let's go to the next topic. I'm done. Listen.
Okay. The next topic. Well, we've recorded a video. Or I've recorded a video, and you've started editing this week, about self-doubt. And I can't quite remember what brought this on, actually. I was in a, I think, I remember what brought it on, actually, but I'm not sure I should share it quite just yet on YouTube. But I did something. I got over a mental barrier, let's just say that, and decided to take a shot at something, and it came off. So I was really thinking all day, oh, is this really such a good idea? Is this should this be a good idea? And I decided to go for it, and it worked out pretty well. And I think, you know, self-doubt, just kind of everybody on planet Earth has suffered from this at some point. I think it's a normal thing, but I think it's something that can hold people back. And I think one of the saddest things is people not reaching their full potential because they're scared to try. I think it's a really, really sad thing. You know, we're all guilty of it, but I think if that video can break, if there's one video we do that can break through and make a difference to some people, I really hope this is the one, because you know, you've got one life, and if you limit yourself, you know, your life isn't going to come back to you. Do you know what I mean? If you live to the age of 70, you've got 70 years on planet Earth. Don't not take chances. I'm not going to say they're not all going to work out, but you know, just don't limit yourself as to what you could achieve. And self-doubt is a killer for that.
I actually had the you know, maybe a revelation. I think it was about a few years ago. I think, can't remember when it was exactly. Probably 5 years ago. And you know, I thought about literally what you just say. You know, you have one life. You pretty much around 70, 75, 80 if you're, you know, if you're good, 85 maybe. You'll be gone. And I had this realization of, you know, if you're on your deathbed and you think back about, you know, you think about your life and what you've done and what you've achieved and opportunities that you've missed, will you regret not taking that chance? And that's kind of, I'm trying to live that way now, having that kind of mentality. Because I was growing up, I was doubting myself a lot about pretty much everything, and anything really. And I'm pretty sure I missed some opportunities. So it's like, let's take something like a simple idea, like, oh, shall well, let's take my case. I used to be scared of flying, for example. Do you let that get into the way of discovering other countries? Do you do that, or would you think about your life and just go, oh, I should have, I've missed out on the opportunity of finding out what that country looks like, and I should not have been scared. I should have gone and basically gone for it. And it's the same thing with professional matters. Sometimes you just think, oh, what are these people are going to think of me? If I send that email, what's going to happen to me? Well, it shouldn't, doesn't really matter. If something wrong happens, there's going to be another job. There's going to be another opportunity to prove something. It's nice to think about what you're doing and maybe have a bit of doubt and think, oh, can I do this a different way? But if that's blocking you and stopping you to do something you should be doing, or you think will be adding to your life, I think it's a shame, really.
No, those are both brilliant examples. I mean, I remember I was really surprised when you told me you had a fear of flying at one point, because you do a lot of plane travel. You go to France quite a lot. You go, you and your family go abroad a fair bit. And so I was quite surprised, actually, when you told me you used to be not a keen flyer. But you've obviously got over that barrier, and now it's nothing.
Well, look, I used to pretty much have nightmares like 2 or 3 weeks before I would take a flight. I would be like literally just thinking about that, and like, oh my god, next week I'll be on a plane. Oh my god, next week I'll be landing, or something like that. And then I realized, what, there's millions of people just flying around the world every single week, and 99.99% of chances that nothing's going to happen. Is going to be an advent for nothing will happen in the flight. Basically, you'd be just sitting in your chair watching a movie, reading a book. So why, kind of concentrate on that? Those couple hours are going to be on a flight, or longer than that, compared to what it's going to bring you. If like when we went to Canada a couple of years ago, and a few years ago I would have said, oh no, I can't, I don't have any money for the ticket. It's find some sort of lame excuse to not actually go there. But I would have missed on so much that it's just kind of...
Yeah, no, I think what you were saying about you got to weigh up the worst thing that could go wrong versus the regret of not doing it. And if you can, for me, like this thing that happened this week, the regret of not doing it would have been worse for me, I think, mentally, than having not tried. So if that's how the balance comes out, then I think you should just go for it, really. And when we release this video, we've got some tips on how to overcome self-doubt. And I mean, it happens all the time. I mean, I watch a lot of football, for example, and you often see it creeping into the minds of players on the pitch. No. Like they're just, I mean, the England football team, I think, are actually a fantastic example sometimes. I think they let the pressure of the situation just kind of completely freeze how they're supposed to be doing. And on a football, whether it's international football or five-a-side football, if you take a shot and it sails over the bar, you're going to get another chance. Not every chance you take has to work out. It doesn't mean you don't have to try again for a while. So yeah, that was the kind of what we tried to get across in this video.
I think it's I think it's kind of tying up with another way of thinking, which is no one's perfect. My dad always used to tell me, he always used to look up to some people and always think, oh my god, that guy you see on the TV or you read about in the newspaper, he's perfect, he's doing this and that. But they're just humans. No one's perfect. And even people you look up to will have those self-doubt. They will have those moments when they think, oh god, should I do this? Should I not do this? And we all have to deal with it. And I think that's what's important. That's what you have to remember. Even the very successful people, pretty much doubt so they'll have doubts on something, pretty much on a regular basis. But the reason why they're successful, I think, is because they actually convince themselves that they, even though there might be some doubts, they are right. You know.
An example that's literally just popped into my head actually about that. This will be a topic that's close to your heart, Tom. Cricket. I remember watching. I remember reading. I'll keep this short and sweet. One of England's glory periods in cricket was when a guy called Duncan Fletcher was in charge of the team. He was the coach, and he'd come over from South Africa to take a job at one of the English counties, and then he got the job as the England cricket coach. And literally, I remember, it was incredible. In this book, he said when they landed at Heathrow or Gatwick or wherever on the plane from South Africa, they were on their way to the baggage collection point. And he turned to his wife and he said, "This is a massive mistake. Let's just get on the first plane back and go home. Like, what have we done? We had a really good life in South Africa, and we're giving it all up for something that could last for 1 year. Like, let's just go back." And she convinced him pretty much in that terminal to stay on, and he went on and created history with the England cricket team. So
there you go. You think you've made a mistake, but turns out everything's fine. Just take your chances, really. I mean, sometimes it's really comes down to, what have you got to lose? You make the wrong decision, other opportunities will come up. I've had that recently on a professional level, where I left a job for another one where I was sold there will be this and that, it will be amazing. I had doubts when I had to talk to my boss and say, look, I've been given that opportunity to go there. I have to leave this place, I'm going to go and join that other place. It turned out that new place didn't work out at all, but now I'm in a new job where I'm actually feeling quite well, I guess. And I think, if you don't doubt your decision, sometimes you go nowhere. So
there's a quote that I think you might have told me to. Michael Jordan said something like, "I've missed." It was something incredible, and like 13,000 shots.
Yeah.
I've missed loads of game deciding free throws or something. But no one remembers him for that. Everyone remembers him for being like the greatest basketball player who ever lived.
I'm trying to find out the quote for you. I think I'm the one who told you that.
It's a meme that kind of went around the internet for
what was it again? Now
a good couple of days, I think.
Damn it. Michael Jordan quote. What was it? On confidence, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was.
Oh God. See, that's the beauty of the internet. You can get everything. No, I'll find it. It's not coming up right now.
We'll stick it on the Facebook page. Maybe
stick it somewhere on the interwebs. Yeah, I think it was something. I know it was something along those lines where nobody, like, I think it was like, no one will remember my 10,000 missed shots. We only remember the ones that wins the final. Something like that. I can't remember. It's Michael Jordan. He's got a lot of quotes. Again, they'll
inspire.
They'll inspire you to reach.
Maybe that's an idea for a little what's the word? A little series of videos. Actually, thinking out loud, but because there's so many of these quotes and memes floating around the internet, perhaps we could do a little mini series of thought nuggets on them. Because
the most famous quotes.
Just I don't know, really, just any that famous ones, or I don't know, just ones that are out there. Really, the thought nuggets have dried up a little bit recently. So
that'll be a good idea. I think that'll be a fun one to do. Just a quote per video, and you just
Perhaps if you've got any, seen any memes or whatever, or got any quotes, send us a tweet at the SO Thought, or comment on our Facebook page, or you can't send messages, or you can send messages on Instagram, but you have to follow the person, don't you?
Yeah, you can, absolutely. You have to follow and then send your little comment on a picture or on a video. Yes, or I think you can send a private message as well. I'm not sure. Direct message, I think it's called.
Speaking of Instagram, we are currently, I think we're on 86 followers on Instagram.
Oh, we've gone up.
So we're getting close to that century. So if you're watching and you want to be you want to help us get up to 100, go over to Instagram at Real School of Thought is our handle. Real School of Thought. There's some little mini videos, positive pictures, Lots of little bits and bobs on there, so definitely well worth checking out.
Yeah, you like your Instagram. I think you're starting to get really interested. I don't know if you were that into it before, but I think now you've got.
Well, I think it's when I discovered the videos. I think that's they're just because it's just so trying to get the because what you see behind me is where I film the normal kind of longer videos, but. Sometimes I don't know. Sometimes you're walking up the stairs and you might get a thought. I haven't got the time to sort of set all this up. So just getting the phone out and just being, you know, a typical 21st century person and talking into a mobile phone. It's
don't talk to your friends. Talk to your phone.
Exactly.
Hey, how about we talk about the secret live stream we had the other day without getting too much into it, but.
Oh yeah, of course. In fact, that all came about from an Instagram private message. Actually. Someone that I used to work with, Mr. Justin Peterson, who's set up. Well, he was doing some photography work, but he's now really doing incredibly well for himself as a DJ on the international dance circuit. It's he's absolutely smashing it by the sounds of it. He's starting up a channel, JPS, and he will be. Well, we've done a little link up with him. We recorded a sort of private video. When was it? A couple of weekends ago?
I believe it was about 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
And we'll be sort of both the channels will be sort of using the footage that was that we recorded, and we'll sort of use it to our own ends, really. But yeah, some great stuff, and you should definitely go and check out his channel once it's up and running, because some great. He's got some fantastic ideas, great energy levels. Even though he has silly shifts, getting up at 4:30 in the morning to get into work, he's always pumped up. So yeah, definitely worth checking him out.
I think that was a great moment, because it's actually the first time, pretty much, where we kind of reached. Well, we were actually asked to do the interview. I think, interview in brackets, obviously, but I think it's a great way to actually, you know, show the power of the internet and show the power of connection. You know, how we are kind of guest starring on that one. So it was actually quite interesting.
I'm all up for collaborating and doing stuff with other people. It's so do send us a message. I mean, I had a few people message me on Instagram, actually, not necessarily other YouTubers, but people who seem to have quite big Instagram followings. A couple of people from America, one guy from Florida messaged me yesterday. Another girl from somewhere in the south of the United States. It's really, really, really good. You know, I was sat there watching Match of the Day last weekend in the UK, messaging this girl in the southern states of America. That's great. You know, couldn't do that even 20-30 years ago.
We'll see where we'll be in about a year's time. You know, maybe we'll be flying to the US and touring universities and Q&As.
Yeah, supporting Tony Robbins, maybe.
Tony Robbins, yeah, why not?
I wonder if he has support acts. I wonder if it's just him.
Surely someone is an opening act. You know, gotta be
master of seminars for when the place is warming up.
And I've been watching quite a few. What's his name? One of the guys you got me.
Grant Cardone?
No, not this guy. The other one. What's his name?
Tai Lopez?
Yeah, Tai Lopez. Yeah, I've been watching quite a few.
Oh yeah, you were watching. You were deeply engrossed in one of it.
Yeah, because I went to your house. Like, what was it, last week already?
Last Saturday was my 30th birthday.
Some party, yeah.
I tell you what. I mean, we did film a little bit of footage before the guests came in. I'm not sure if it will get released, but I hope it does, because that's the coolest I'll ever look on camera. I don't care what anyone says. That's as good as it'll ever get for me. Where was I going with that? Yeah, so we were watching. A few of us were kind of watching something on telly, but you were watching a video by Tai Lopez about the pyramid of wealth.
Yeah, pyramid of wealth, and the step and where you are on the scale of wealth, and how you get from the bottom bit of the pyramid and how you get to the top, like he did actually. And I think it was quite inspiring to see what there's like sentences always saying, it's like, oh, they didn't teach me that at school, and I wish they did. So yeah, it's if you're into motivation stuff, I'm hoping you are, because you're watching us. Obviously, you've got some bit of interest. But go and check him out. So obviously he's massive already, but so it doesn't need any advertising, I guess. But yeah, I've been doing quite a few of his videos, and I was deep into his video when I was at yours the other day. But yeah, definitely worth checking him out, because man, he gets you thinking.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, he's one of those. Some of his videos are quite long, so you've got to give it a bit of time. Like, I wouldn't watch it before you're about to go to work, but like, definitely one evening, like set aside an hour for a bit of Tai Lopez, because it's he's had quite an incredible life journey. And
he's not the energetic guy like E.T.
Oh God, Eric Thomas, yeah,
Eric Thomas, he's my favorite, because he gets me pumped like nobody else can get me pumped like he does. But I think you kind of get tired after a little bit of you can watch him for a good half an hour, but then you're like, okay, I need to relax now. I need to take it easy for a sec. But Mr. Lopez.
Yeah, no, he's very much, some of his videos, they're very much like a sort of lecture. He gets his whiteboard out and he draws diagrams. It's, definitely sort of set aside an hour or so for one of his videos, because he's certainly been at the bottom and risen to the top, exactly, if his life story is to be believed. So, yeah.
Have you found any other YouTube motivation speaker that are worth mentioning?
No, I've been watching a lot of Grant Cardone recently. He's got because he does lots of different sort of streams. He's got his Cardone Zone, Young Hustlers, which he does with somebody else. That's really good. But he also does these little mini videos called Grant Rants, which are only like a minute or two long. They're brilliant. I would say that's a really good way to start your day, actually, because they're literally 2 or 3 minutes long. There's about 200 of them, I think. And it's just very, very short snippets, lots of pictures to go with them. And they're very good. Haven't been.
Is he the one who did who wrote the one thing? It's not him, is it?
No, he wrote the 10x
rule.
The
10x rule. That's the one. Yeah,
that was his most famous book. He's got another book out at the moment called what's it called? Get Obsessed or Be Average.
Okay.
Which is really good. That's another thing. I think we'll do a video on that later on. It's about this whole thing of just get obsessed with your goals. I mean, I think that's kind of reason why it took me a while to get into his stuff, because so much of what he says goes completely against the grain of what you've probably been told. Like, people say being obsessed is a bad thing.
I remember you were talking about that last week, right? About being obsessed, and I think your flatmate was like, "Oh, what do you mean by being obsessed?" And it's just literally you dedicate your time into that one specific thing, that one goal you want to get to. So I think it's it's to me as well. I was a bit, when you told me, oh, he's got that theory about being obsessed, and I was like, oh, what's that about? That seems a bit, sounds a bit extreme. But then when you explain it, it makes sense. And I think you were saying pretty much everyone who's successful is not just passionate about what they do, but they're obsessed as well.
Well, you've got to be. I mean, the other thing he says is don't be average. Because most people who get to the top, and by definition, are not average. Most average people are in the middle. But the people who get to the top are obviously doing something a bit different. I mean, I know a lot of them have got a lot of talent, but plenty of people have got talent and don't build on it. They don't do the right things. So, yeah, I think you've got to just, it's just another way of saying giving it everything you've got and gearing everything towards this one goal that you've got, whatever that might be.
All right, cool. I think. I'm about done.
Seems like a good place to finish.
Have you got anything else to add to the conversation?
No, I think that went really well. Thank you very much for watching. If you've watched live, thanks for taking time out of your Friday evening to tune in. If you're watching online as a pre-recorded, post-recorded thing on YouTube, thank you very much. Getting really excited about this YouTube channel at the moment. We seem to be getting a bit of momentum. It seems
a lot of feedbacks coming, that we're getting at the moment, which actually kind of helps carrying on. Again, talking about doubts. Some days you're like, oh, is it worth it? But then you only get feedbacks from people saying, oh yeah, that helped. That's cool. That's a good subject. You're like, okay, cool. It's
definitely
going. So what have we got coming up? We've got that. In terms of videos, we've got the the doubt video.
The self-doubt video, which should be ready maybe sometime next week. Is that realistic?
I'm thinking even this weekend.
Brilliant, even better.
Yep.
We'll have that. We'll have some of the footage at some point from our stuff with Justin. We need to watch through and realize what we're going to do with it, I think. But it was really good. It was a really great hour's worth of footage. We've also got this little video that we filmed at the start of my birthday party. Just send it to me if we don't want to put it on.
I think I'll just put it on the Facebook page.
It was it was gold. I thought it was gold anyway. Just keep following. Do head over to the Instagram page as well, Real School of Thought, and Twitter. Be great to get up to 100 followers on there, and the Twitter, the SO Thought, and the Real School of Thought Facebook page, which we're trying to add as much as we can. So yeah, thanks very much for just supporting the School of Thought project.
Indeed. Thank you very much all for watching us either now live or later on YouTube. We wish you a good evening. Thanks, Ross.
Take it easy.